So I was going to do a video on basically the whole flooding of the new canon, but I think I'm going to kind of fold that into this one, and this will just kind of be the last video on this particular thing. Essentially, I think that they're really trying to just get a bunch of money from people, which is what George Lucas has always been doing anyway. So I'm going to come out with this. I'm going to come out with this 2.0. I'm going to come out with this same thing 2.3. I'm going to come out with this 4.0 now, and you know what I mean. It's just money grabs, really, is what it all is. Um, and I think that's what this new flood of canon is about. There's supposed to be like about 20 different books, and now there's all these comics and everything, and not everything's up to the greatest quality. From all the fans I've been hearing, I've just finished the only thing of the new canon I've even read, and I want to get Tarkin and the Sith Lords. I heard some really good things about those. Wasn't really interested in Tarkin. Not really interested in that character, even though he was a fun character. He was an interesting person, but not so much that I want to know about them. But from what I understand, the book is awesome, so I want to read that. And Dark Disciple, I really don't want to hear what I liked Asajj Ventress. I thought she was awesome. I have one of her lightsabers that I bought because I liked her, but I'm not really interested in her post Clone Wars kind of Sith, not kind of Sith, almost Jedi like now. I don't really care. That story doesn't interest me. But Sith Lords is up my alley, right? For anybody who's watching any of the other videos, or especially some of the first ones. But I think this flood is just really about money, just grabbing money, getting money from people. Um, so yeah, that's really kind of what I want to say is I think they're really just kind of flooding the market. I think it's kind of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, just flooding the market with crap, which is end up biting them in the ass. I think is going to really dilute the canon too much right now already. Even if it all stays consistent and consistently canon, that's not really the problem that I'm having right now. Although I think a lot of people are correct in that that could be an issue later on. But the whole point is they're diluting right now. They're taking something that could be very cool and awesome and just making it less awesome by every single. I mean, think of it like this: you go and you onto a like because we do this sometimes. We go onto the beach, right? That's about a block and a half away from here. Not this particular beach, but the beach is about a block and a half away. Um, yeah, bragging, right? Because it is kind of. It's awesome, but yeah, the beach is down the street a little bit. We go and there's places that I've heard where you got to walk like pretty far. My mom doesn't really walk all that far, and I don't really go to the beach by myself that much. I do other stuff, play games and stuff. The time I go out, so when she wants to go out and do something, then I will. But then we go down to the beach and we'll find a sand dollar, like a whole sand dollar, which is hard to find on the beach because kids and stuff, they're always breaking them and doing stuff because they think it's fun. I think it's kind of dumb, but ooh, kids, I'm not blaming them or anything like, oh, those darn kids, get off my lawn. I mean, a little bit, but for the most part, it's like, I get it. I was a kid once. I like to destroy and crap, stepping on stuff and seeing it break and stuff. It was fun. I'm mostly a kid anyway, so I can get it, and I can totally see myself doing stuff like that anyways. But that makes it kind of hard to get these whole sand dollars. Now, like I said, I heard there's places further out where it's a little bit more common. But where we walk, there's so many people who walk around. It's just hard to get a whole sand dollar. So when you get a whole sand dollar, especially a larger one, the smaller ones are cool, but the large one, it's like, holy crap, that's pretty awesome, right? Now imagine you go out into the beach and there's just you're stepping on them because there's so many. You can get a whole sand dollar. You step on 50 of them. Who cares at this point? You totally take what was special about this unique object and destroy it. Is the new Star Wars canon 50 different sand dollars? No, it's not. But the more you start putting into it, the less special any one of them becomes. Then am I saying you should do two more Star Wars books and that's it and forever? No, no, no. We're talking about a stream here. We're not talking about, let's say, quantity overall, right? So I get that one sand dollar, right? Does that mean the next week I can't get a sand dollar because it's not special anymore? No, I get another sand dollar, and maybe the next week I get a couple of sand dollars, and then the week after that I don't find one. Then the week, if it, meanwhile my whole lifetime, like freaking 500 sand dollars or whatever. But we're talking one here, one there, a couple of here. Still 500. Is it quite as special? No, but it's still cool because every single sand dollar I found was exciting. So, yes, that's the point. The point isn't you can't have a whole bunch more. The point is limited. Man, I realize this is a push towards the Force Unleashed, and we're really trying to get everybody geared back into Star Wars and stuff, especially more casual fans. Totally understand it. But you don't need this to do that. You don't. I think, again, you're diluting it. Whatever the reasoning is, you're diluting it. If you push the one or two big things before and say, obviously you can watch the movie without these, but these are totally going to enhance your experience. Here's these two giant things. Everybody go and get it. You're going to have a much better response for that because A, people are going to read it. People are going to like it. Hopefully. I mean, if they're not, then you're not doing your job right. And number 3, people are going to pass the word on. And people are going to say, these are the things. They're like, I don't really want to get into these 50 different books again. No. There's 2. This is it, and then not another one for another like 3 or 4 months, and then that's going to be it anyways. But trust me, you need to read this one. It's totally awesome. It brings you up. It brings some of the new characters in, which they haven't done yet. And they're like, well, we don't want to reveal anything. You don't have to reveal anything. Just give us a little bit of new. Like, for instance, we've seen the pictures. We've seen the new Stormtrooper. It's not like you haven't given us anything new. You have. Weave them into this. Give them an extra reason to read the book other than it's just about Tarkin or the Sith Lords or something. That's cool, but that's a hardcore Star Wars fan talking, Give everybody else a reason to want to read this, other than it's just a good book. That would really, and a push for a couple different things, and the comic's totally different, because comics come out every week anyways. That's a totally different story, so I totally understand when there's like a ton of comics. That's not books. That's different. A novel is a completely different animal than comics, and why you shouldn't have, 4, 5, 6 of them before the movie comes out. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but there's a bunch of them. So that takes away. That's diluting it, and they shouldn't be doing that. And that's really what I wanted to get in that whole video. So what I wanted to get on the very last video, that's what this is going to be. Anyways, is really, I saw the Force Awakens, and like I said on the last about 3 or 4 videos ago, something like that, where I was talking about Disney acquisition. Really not a lot of hope, but I'm starting to kind of turn over a little bit, and I'll tell you, the turning point was the trailer, the teaser, the first teaser, and I thought, and Rebels too. Rebels really kind of, because when I saw Rebels, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first few episodes. I don't think anybody was, really. It was really kind of the word. But the first few, I liked them, because they had the Star Wars music, they had actual TIE fighters, stormtroopers. It felt like Star Wars again. It wasn't the most exciting stuff in the world, but at least it felt, and a lot of people say it felt kind of forced with Star Wars in there. I'll agree, it was a little bit forced and kind of out of place, but at least it was there. It's like, I didn't care that it's Force, it's freaking the Force. So that was kind of exciting and fun. And then Rebels just started getting better and better. And now it looks like it's going to be pretty freaking awesome from the trailer I saw. And I had a chance, but like I said, I went and saw Mark Hamill and stuff because I still get to see the Season 2 stuff. And I think it's coming out in July or something, where that little mini movie is coming out for Season 2. It's basically the first couple episodes. So I still get to see that. But if I waited and see Mark Hamill, I don't get to see that. But then, this was also before I realized they were streaming stuff. I did not realize they were streaming everything, including that, for free. Basically, you just go and watch it, or you download on your app and watch it. When I found that out, like, at the end, basically, because I wasn't going to be there for the last day, I got to see a lot of the last day stuff that way, which was pretty cool. But I didn't know that. So I'm like, I can go see Mark Hamill, or not go and see Mark Hamill, plus the James Arnold Taylor thing. Like I said, a little bit disappointing in the fact that it wasn't a lot more new stuff and different, but it's still an awesome show. He still puts on an awesome show. And so I wanted to see that because I knew I would eventually get to see the new Rebels thing. So, I wasn't missing anything by not seeing it, whereas opposed the other way I would. So that was my justification for that. But so that started giving me hope the fact that we saw something that was Star Wars. It had a Star Wars feel. Was it completely holy crap? I'm way back in the original trilogy again? No, no, no. But it had that glimmer, and that was awesome. Um, as it moved on, has it become more Star Wars? Not really. I mean, it's become a lot better, but I don't think it's actually become a whole lot more Star Wars. Not yet. It did become a little bit more Star Wars. Absolutely. It's definitely progressed since then. But it's not like, oh, Star Wars is back. Not yet. That first teaser trailer, again, still the same as Rebels. That glimmer of, this is Star Wars, but not quite Star Wars is back. The full trailer, Star Wars is back. All right? That's freaking Star Wars. I'm telling you. To me, it had a little bit of prequel feel to it, because of the new effects, because of the new stuff, because it felt more like the new technologies that they can do and stuff with the prequels that they were able to do, as opposed to the old trilogy, which was really just basic kind of, look, there's a piece of cardboard spray painted blue and it's a droid kind of stuff. But again, that's a lot of people hate that. That's not a knock for me. I love that part of it. I think it's like a marriage of the two. It's what the prequels should have been. You know what I mean? As opposed to, because it's like the prequels, everybody, is going to hate on it kind of a stuff. It's really the good stuff that was out of the original trilogy and the best stuff that really was in the prequels and what the prequels should have been. That's what that trailer was to me, what it said. And having, Mark Hamill's voice, even though it was pulled off of episode 6, it was just pulled off of there and reiterated there, was still exciting as hell. Oh man, and that first shot of Darth Vader. But anyways, the whole point is, I think, despite all this stuff in these videos and all the problems and all that, this is really gives me hope for the future of Star Wars and where it is, where it's going, where it could be. I'm thinking that, in the future, we're going to be in for some really cool actual Star Wars. Now, Rogue One's got me a little bit worried, because they're talking about it being like a war film and stuff, and then people are saying, the Winter Soldier, well, that wasn't really Marvel, that was more 70s spy thriller. It wasn't all that 70s spy thriller to me. There was a little bit of that in it, but the Winter Soldier was just another exciting adventure Marvel movie to me. That's what it was. I'm not saying that stuff wasn't in it, but I liked it because it was a Marvel movie, because it was exciting and action-packed and stuff, and a lot of good character development for Steve Rogers. So when they say, oh, well, see, they did that kind of subgenre stuff within Marvel, so therefore they're going to do this sort of subgenre war film in Rogue One, it kind of gets me a little bit worried, because I don't want subgenre. I mean, obviously in the books and stuff, we get a lot of that kind of thing in it. Well, we're talking about stuff building on what's already Star Wars. Here, even though we're building on, it's so new to the brand new Star Wars, it's really more establishing, what the new Star Wars even is, as opposed to just building on what we've already gotten as a new Star Wars, now building from that. So, is it a little... I mean, I'm not saying I don't think Rogue One's going to be any good. I'm hoping it's going to be awesome, really. I'm just saying that gives me a little bit more of a pause. And, of course, this new stuff about the Boba Fett. I don't even want to see a Boba Fett movie. I mean, I know everybody loves Boba Fett. I don't hate Boba Fett, but he's never really... I mean, he looks cool. But, I mean, the dude just bounced around and hit the Sarlacc pit and he was gone. You know what I mean? That's really what we got at. Well, there was just a little glimpse of this, that. A little glimpse doesn't count for nothing. I mean, they were cool little glimpses, but when you really saw Boba Fett, he was like kind of Wilhelm scream and fell into the Sarlacc pit. I mean, that's really our experience with Boba. So, until the prequels, everybody hated anyways and thought they totally neutered Boba as much as they did Darth Vader. So, but still, I think the real point is there is a lot of hope on the horizon for Star Wars fans, and we just kind of want to address a lot of the stuff that's been coming out so far, especially between the original trilogy and then going through the prequel trilogy and now coming up on what's going to be the next trilogy, sequel trilogy, I guess, a true sequel trilogy. Because I think it's kind of, like I said, been kind of an elephant in the room as far as a lot of things that people have been saying about what is and isn't true for Star Wars and Star Wars fans and where Star Wars has been. And I kind of wanted to clarify it, especially as somebody who went through a lot of that personally. So, anyways, so because this is the last video, if anybody's ever watched any of these things, which so far they haven't, but they've been on for like, an hour or something like that. I've got like 2 subscribers, so how many of those people are going to watch? I don't know. These could be completely unseen for the whole rest of their lives. It's really not that important. It was more important for me just to do them. But I want to leave it to this, that if anybody does see it and everybody sits through them or just watches this one, it really doesn't matter because it's the only one I'm going to say it on. If there was anything in any of the videos that like you wanted more clarification on, maybe, or I glossed over, and it doesn't have to be Star Wars related. Like, remember when we mentioned Star Trek and blah 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 blah? I'm kind of interested in that kind of thing. Oh sure, I'll do videos on whatever kind of things you're interested in having me do those, or if there's something else that you're like, can you do a video kind of like this or something? Then just write in the comments and say we're kind of interested in this kind of thing, and is this something that you'd be interested in doing or that you could do a part of or something like that, or it's just something that you mentioned that maybe we want expanded on, or what was your thought on this or that. I mean, why do you care what I have to say? I'm like a nobody, and even less than a nobody because I'm just nobodying right now, you know what I mean, as opposed to having been nobody for a while now. So go ahead and just post those in the comments if you even want to bother commenting or whatever. You saw like the first 10 minutes and gave up on it. But so this will probably be the longest video, but just because I wanted to add that little sort of outro rather than, I was thinking of making a whole new video just to say that kind of thing on it, but I'm figuring I'm just going to attach it here. So yeah, like basically if you want something, not to say I'll never post again, but I don't really know necessarily what I'm going to post again or when or anything like that. So if you want something specific and you're looking for something like, how about this or whatever, then just let me know. Any of the videos, it doesn't have to be this one, this is just the one I'm mentioning it. And so and let me know about that kind of stuff, or especially any of the videos I've done, like your particular experience with them and when you were around and how you felt about it, and especially in like what I'm trying to do, more of a generality, not just, well, I felt this way because specifically I hate the prequels and they suck. It's like, yeah, okay, but that's just you. What do you feel that the context with a lot of your friends, and if they, yeah, my friends just do, and try to be a little bit more objective about it. I'm not saying, oh, you can't hate and do this. Well, of course, you can say whatever the hell you want. I'm just saying, if you want me to actually give a crap about what you say and pay attention, try not to personalize it so much. Like, well, I felt this and I felt this and I really hate it. Just be a little bit more open about, objective about how you saw these things, and a little bit more analytical. And it definitely would be a lot more open to have an actual discussion, whether you agree with me or disagree with me or any of that kind of stuff. I'm always up to a good discussion. Make sure it's an actual discussion, not just like yelling about some stupid crap. Again, everybody has a freedom to yell and troll all they want. I'm just probably not going to respond most of the time. So if you're actually looking to have a kind of response, that'd be a good way to do it. So we're going to close this out. When the next one will ever come up, I don't know. I'm busy uploading them now as I'm finishing them, but I'm way behind on the uploads because it takes a while. So I'll get them uploaded as quickly as I can. So thanks for watching, I guess, the 1 or 2 people who watched it. So.